Mastery isn't about better techniques or more tools. It's about who you are in the room. I'm Ruth Kudzi, a Master Certified Coach and the host of the Coaching Hub. Today, I'm going to talk about what mastery really means and what being a Master Certified Coach actually looks like. So if you're ready to hear, and you're ready to delve in, let's go. I remember when I was training to be a Master Certified Coach, it was something that had been on my mind and on my vision board for many years, and I took the leap. And was something that was incredibly scary, because actually when you're doing something like this, when you're giving yourself a label of master, it's quite a thing. And what I believe is that I don't believe I'm a master. I believe I am on the road to mastery and I am learning. And that mindset is still there and it will always be there, because there is still so much that I've got to learn and develop and evolve. But right now, I've met the standard to be certified as a Master Certified Coach. And I also work with people who want to become MCCs, these Master Certified Coaches with the ICF. And lots of people think there is this kind of magic formula to becoming a Master Certified Coach. I know that people can perceive that there is this idea that we think we're better than others. And I certainly have never experienced that. And the people that I have worked with who want to become Master Certified Coaches hold one thing in common. They want to improve their craft. They are committed to delivering for their clients, and they want to really see themselves as the best coaches possible. I remember when I started, and I was really clear with my mentor that I knew that there were habits that I got into. I knew that there were things that I was doing that maybe weren't as good as they could be. It was like I'd been driving for many, many years and I got into those bad habits. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to be the best coach for me. I wanted to serve my clients. I wanted to improve. I wanted to have meaningful feedback on what I was like as a coach, because I recognize, and I still recognize, that there are blind spots. There are things that I was doing that maybe weren't always helpful. And I remember getting my very first feedback. And let's just say there was a lot to work on. And I was already at the professionally certified coach with the ICF. I was in the process of setting up Optimus. And I recognized that one of the things that I talk about a lot is growth mindset and the ability that we all have to learn, develop, and grow. And I got this feedback and I was way off where I needed to be. And in that moment, I said to my mentor, there are a couple of things that I can do. I can say, I'm never going to get there. I'm way off. I'm not good enough. And of course, that was running through my head. Or I can say, there is so much potential for me to grow. And as I've got a growth mindset, I know I can get better. And that was the approach that I took. And that is the approach that I really support my clients in taking. Because the levels of being a Master Certified Coach with the International Coaching Federation, it's not about doing more. It's not about models or frameworks or techniques. It's about you. It's about how you are being. And even yesterday, I was with my current group of MCCs, and we were really thinking about what is the difference here? How do we become someone who is meeting the standard? And it's about that becoming, about coaching the person, not the problem, which I know is something we hear so much, but actually we need to be the person. We need to show up really present, confident in what we're doing, fluid, compassionate, courageous, able to step into that space of not knowing. One of the things that I love about working at this level is about this space of not knowing, and this idea that when we're sharing, when we're exploring, we're doing it without attachment. So what that means is I might be coaching somebody, and intuitively in my gut, I might feel there's something else. I might have an energy shift. I might feel in my body a little bit of a shiver or a change or just that momentary pause. And I might explore that. But the thing is that as an MCC, I need to not attach my ego with being right about it. So maybe I'm saying, it feels like there's more here. Maybe I'm being curious, but actually I've got it wrong. And I remember in one of my MCC recordings that I submitted to the ICF and it passed at the beginning, I said to the client, it feels like there's something else in the room. I'm noticing that feeling in my throat. And they were like, no, I don't feel like anything. And I said, it must be me. And we laughed because actually I probably was feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit worried. I was doing my MCC. I needed to pass these recordings. It felt like I had done so many recordings and made so much progress, but I kept just missing it according to my mentor. But actually, I hadn't done that many, and my mentor was absolutely brilliant. It was my feeling and my perception. So part of being able to master coaching is about recognizing what you're bringing and actually recognizing when we're attaching to something for a client. When I'm coaching and training, or when I'm training new coaches, often people will say like, I'm really aware, I'm really self-aware. I always know what is right for a client. And I always smile because I think I was like that too. I think I used to think that I knew more than I did. And what I recognize now is that every single client is an individual. Every brain is individual. Every experience is individual. It's based on our own perception of the world, our own experience, our own neural pathways. So actually, when we are genuinely curious, when we are genuinely non-judgmental, we uncover more. When we don't need to be right, when we recognize that actually our perception, our lens is only one, exactly like our clients, we are able to have those deeper conversations. So this is about how we're being. It's about that genuine presence and curiosity, not having coaching to have to go in a particular direction because we perceive it's about the boss or about the partner or about this or about that, but genuinely partnering. And one of the things that I love about MCC and is that as a coach, we do less, but we have this precision. Questions become a lot sharper. Using the client's language becomes a lot crisper. Being precise, but also creating more space. But space when it's appropriate for the client. So knowing that for some clients, they need more space. Tailoring our approach to meet the needs of the client in front of us. There's also this part about, as a coach, are we pausing? Are we pausing for us, or are the questions flowing? Difficult, isn't it? How do we get questions to flow? Competence, confidence, experience. That's why you need to have 2,500 hours of coaching, because when you're at that level, you've had so much experience and you're able to be in the moment. You're able to be in flow state. You're able to be engaged with the client. So it becomes about them, not about you. So in a way, your ego needs to leave the building. And the ironic thing is that people say, oh, you've got that label, you must have an ego. I've got this label. I know that there is so much more to learn. I know that I am not a master, even though I've got that label. Mastery is an ongoing journey and process. It is so much about us. Yes, the coaching conversation is about the client, but what are we bringing into the room? How is our nervous system? How are we like emotionally? How in tune are we with what is going on in our bodies? How genuinely curious are we? Another thing that I love about master certified coaching and supporting people is one of my favorite sayings. What people come to coaching for is not what people come to coaching for. And actually, when we're at this level, we are often contracting, repartnering, really in that dance, that tango with our clients, where it is about being in the moment, noticing those subtle shifts where a conversation can change. And that is so interesting because we never know what is really going on. And sometimes our clients don't. I know I've been coached. My current coach is a master certified coach. And when he coaches me, I'm often amazed by what comes up because I haven't been conscious that this is really what is underlying. And the questions, the precision, the space, the curiosity helped me to unlock things that I didn't even know existed. And this is what really deep coaching is, when people are committed to mastering their skills. We're not talking about frameworks. We're not talking about techniques. We're talking about deep presence with trust and safety at the heart. We're talking about coaches who will challenge, who will be courageous, who will be okay with not always getting things right, who might be stuck in mess with the client, but will understand that it's a client's discomfort to hold, who are okay with silence, who use precise questions. This is what great coaching is. And that path to mastery is one that I encourage every coach to go down the route of. But it takes time. Of course, it's that real shift from transactional, what's the problem, to transformational, looking at the person in front of you in that holistic whole person approach. And this type of coaching is never going to be replaced by AI. This is that human to human connection, that depth, that perception. And it's the best thing ever. So I'd love to know, what does mastery mean to you? If you like what you've heard today, subscribe or follow. Or if you want to find out more about Optimus Coach Academy, head to our website. We'd love to hear from you.